So we are back online. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Great and wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world. I greet you according to your time zone, wherever you are watching from. While you are joining us, share this video, invite others to join. Wherever you are watching us from, share the video, invite others to join. Are you watching on Facebook? Are you watching on YouTube? Are you watching on Twitter? Share the video, invite others to join. Welcome back to it. Welcome back to it. Apologies for that interruption. It is always like that, you know. Sometimes it's a good reception, sometimes it is the topic that we write there, you know, it got interrupted. So very necessary that we continue where we stopped yesterday. Just like we promised, I promised that I am coming online today to do this needful. So I urge every one of you, kindly share the video, invite others to join. I know that our link has been, you know, when there is too many links shared, it actually affects the program. So it affects the program. So but we must continue, however it takes it, however it is, we must continue. We are here, of course, to do the needful, to continue where we've stopped the last time, in preaching this gospel of emancipation, gospel of freedom. And we are not going to relent. We are not going to relent. Okay, we are good to go, I believe. Let me double check the byte rate, what it is pulling. All right, I think it is still okay right now. Let us actually proceed. Are you watching on YouTube? Click the like button. While you are joining us on YouTube, click the like button. It will enable the algorithm to do the more sharing. If you can share, you share as well on YouTube. Are you watching on Facebook? Share the video. Invite others to join. Are you watching on... Okay, we are not going to join Twitter right now. Let me try to see how stable the program, the network, or it is going to pull them. We will know whether we are going to join Twitter, but for now we are not on Twitter. We are on Facebook and YouTube. So great and wonderful people of Biafra, great and wonderful people of Africa, you are welcome to this program. We are here once again. There are many things that we have to talk about, but we are going to choose one specific topic to discuss, and it is going to be Asari Dokubo's topic. And I know there are many things that has transpired, and there are many information that is coming out with regards to what is happening in Niger Republic, which we are supposed to talk about, but I'm trying to see if my time will permit me, because I don't want to stay here more than an hour 30 minutes, because of course it is weekend. There is no much time. You need to spend time with family, and so let us do it one more time. Let us do it one more time. 1 hour 30 minutes, we are out of here. So if you are not here, that means you are going to miss it. If you are not here, that means you are going to miss it. 1 hour 30 minutes. So great and wonderful people, of course we understand that there is a topic that I was talking about yesterday before we actually run late and I left it behind. It is actually about Asari Dokubo discussing on the geopolitics, and then talking about foreign policy, talking about the alignment, talking about I know that he talked about unipolar system, and all this multipolar system, and he talked about neocolonialism. He talked about, I know he did not mention this in their park, but I know that whatever he was talking about touched on all these elements that I actually spoke about. So we are here to actually educate Asari Dokubo what it means, because he said that Thomas Sankara and all these freedom fighters and those who fought against the neo-colonial power and imperialism, that they failed because they are doing the wrong thing. So that I believe that Asari Dokubo, seeing himself, he believes, or he is under the impression that he knows better than every other person that did or fought for the liberation of Africa in the past. So that is one thing that we need to educate them, because he is a zoo, he is a product of a zoo. So he will not understand the struggle, because he was in a struggle. I don't know what they called it, in the name that they are struggling to elevate their area, their community. At the end of the day, he decided to sell out, and the community still remains the way it is, because the government decided to start giving them contracts to guide pipeline. They forgot the real thing that they were fighting for. They forgot the real self-determination that they were believing on. They forgot the struggle. That is the reason why any other person that is found that is in a struggle in Nigeria, Asari Dokubo will not like that person, or even in Africa, because of what he is, whatever he said in the video that I'm about to play. You will understand that it is all about him being or trying to convince the government of the day that there is something wrong with the coup in Niger Republic. It is all about him trying to build that bridge that is already crashing between him and the president of the day. So while he was trying to do those things, he decided to mess up. But before we go there, there is something I want to read for you, which is actually the top, something that they have, the ECOWAS, because I also promise you, I will tell you exactly what will be the loopholes or the ECOWAS, because if the ECOWAS decide that they are going to engage militarily, because they did their last meeting in Ghana a few days ago, and they have come to a resolution, they have come to, terms that they are going to do military intervention if the diplomatic fails. So we are going to tell you now what exactly is going to be their challenges in case if they want to engage in the military intervention, what is going to resolve to. Then we will compare it to see if indeed this military intervention, are they thinking it through, or is it born out of the, the pressure that they were, how they were being pushed by the people of influence. So, because I know that everything that the ECOWAS bloc is doing, it is actually born out of the Western control. And they are pushing this narrative through them. And that is exactly what we are going to find out. There is a piece that I want to read quickly before we get to it. Let me open this piece. We are going to read it. Once we're done reading it, we get to Asari Dokubo. And also there is a video that I might play of what ECOWAS they have come to terms with. And this piece that I'm going to read, actually, it is a piece coming out of India, because it is called India Punchline. You will see their take on the ECOWAS and the Niger Republic activities, so that we will know that, you believe and we know exactly that this unipolar system is no longer working. Nobody is adopting this unipolar system out, a hegemony of the Europeans or the West, the Western hegemony. Nobody is actually, it is not going well with anybody in the world except people in the ECOWAS region or ECOWAS bloc. They are still enjoying this Western hegemony. And that is exactly what these people are Francophone countries, they want to do away with. Maybe everybody is now pushing for multipolar, system, because this unipolar system is sometimes bipolar. Because if you look at it, it has never helped or favor anybody in this, developing nations like Africa. Some of them are seen, even in that sub-Saharan, there are, third world countries, not even the second world countries. They are seen to be the third world countries. But they are now, their leaders, or the people who call themselves the ECOWAS bloc, they are actually promoting the European hegemony or the Western hegemony, which is what placed them under this poverty that they will never come out, under this new colonialism that they are not knowing how to navigate, that actually exploit everything that is coming out of their ground, and they have never benefited anything from it, because they are actually exporting their raw material, and they are buying in exactly what is called a finished product. And while they are buying it in, they pay more. And not only that they pay more, they're now importing inflation as well. And these things of their raw material is not benefiting anybody that is on the ground zero of the various nations where it is coming out from. So that is the reason why we are going to actually bring it to you and contextualize it with the activities of Asari Dokubo. Now, while educating Asari Dokubo what it means, what people are fighting for, and exactly what is the meaning of all these geopolitical quagmire and how to navigate them. That's what we are going to do. So first of all, let us read this India. Let me bring it to the screen. We are going to read this piece. It is very, very important. It is called the Indian Punchline. Indian Punchline. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. Indian Punchline. Yes, you can. You can see it on the screen. Let us read it so that we will know exactly what other people think about the activities of the ECOWAS bloc, which is actually, promoting the neocolonial agenda. And I'm also going to tell you the real reason why they are promoting all these things. These cabals, group of cabals in this ECOWAS bloc, I'm also going to tell you, and I will tell you their loopholes. That is what we are going to do. Let's read this. This was written on the 17th of August 2023 by MK Badrakumar. Now he says, France's colonial legacy, U.S. security concern intersect in Niger. Russians at the gate looking for new hunting ground. Russian at the gate looking for new hunting ground. Interesting. The military coup in Niger is already 3 weeks old. The putschists are cementing their rule, having gained the upper hand in the shadow play with the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, backed by ex-colonial power. Now, backed by ex-colonial power, backed by ex-colonial powers, ravaging that desperately poor West African state rich in mineral wealth. The prospect of Niger pro-Western President Mohamed Bazoum being reinstated looked dim. He is an ethnic Arab. This is where they are now telling you exactly where the president originally came from. The president they want to reinstate in Niger Republic. they are telling you where the president come from. He is an ethnic Arab with a small power base in a predominantly African country. Hailing from the migrant Ould Slimani tribe, which has a history of being France's fifth column in Sahel region. The ECOWAS lost the initiative once the coup leaders defied its August 6 deadline to release Bazoum and reinstate him on pain of military action. The coup in Niger has been a humiliating setback for France too, and a terrible drama for President Emmanuel Macron personally, as he lost his best supporter in Africa for France's neo-colonial policies. Macron egged the ECOWAS on to invade Niger and rescue Bazoum. Macron, listen to this very well. Listen to this. Macron egged the ECOWAS. I want you to see this. Macron egged ECOWAS to invade Ukraine. Macron egged ECOWAS on to invade Niger and rescue Bazoum. He misread the ground well behind the coup and gambled that Niger military would splinter. His overreaction boomerang as the coup leader overnight abrogated the military pact with France. And the latent animosity towards France surged, forcing Macron to cede the leadership to Washington. Wow. Not only France, but Western powers on the whole do not understand that the African people have highly politicized mindset that, thanks to the violent, bitterly fought national liberation movement, unsurprisingly, Africa has been quick to adapt to the space opening up for them in the multipolar setting to negotiate with the ex-colonial masters. Wow. It's a good piece because exactly that is what exactly is going on. But now we are talking about this Africa that is made up of young generation. We have seen that Africa that is led by ECOWAS are not actually ready. They are not ready to embrace the change that is coming out. They are not ready to embrace this new development, African freedom, and they are not ready to do away with neocolonialism. That is why are they not ready? Because the neocolonial system, as much as they are corrupt, these African leaders of ECOWAS, as much as they are so corrupt, they do not want anything that will make them to stop securing the bag for the family. So they are protecting the Western interests because Western interests protect them from their evil activities against their own people. So that is the reason why they are not realizing the fact that change is the only thing that is constant in life. So that's why they are in denial that Niger Republic have moved on and they do not want anything to do with their ex-colonialists. So they are pushing back and forth, trying to see, and the West is pushing this war, and for this war to happen, it is a shadow war that they are pushing to happen in that across the Sahel region. And when this war is taking place, who is in benefit of it? The West. Because they will have to sell their weapons. They will have to take your resources. They will have to do many things, give you military aid in exchange with your raw materials. There is a lot of benefit for them. What is the catch for the ECOWAS leaders who are actually pushing for this war to take place? And we are trying to embrace this multipolar system instead of this unipolar system that has been destroying. Power is actually centralized on the West. They are controlling the whole world. They are controlling everybody. They tell you how much you're going to sell your essential commodities. They tell you what you are going to have and what you are not going to have. They call you the third world, first, second, and third world country. And they are actually telling you that you are a beggar by giving you fundings and free money. And this free money is going directly to your leaders. And the leaders, they don't disburse this money. If you look at Nigeria in 2020, when you see people were given palliative, not Nigeria that gave such palliative, I believe it is palliative that is coming out from these charity organizations for them to, take this palliative and give it to the poor people in Nigeria. The leaders decided to pack this palliative in their various warehouses so that once everything is forgotten, they will bring it out and they sell it in the market. So this is exactly what these people are protecting. Even the people who actually gave that palliative know exactly where this palliative were stored, and they know very well the palliative were not given to the people because they don't care. It is all about getting their own share. How it is used, they do not care to know how it is used. It is all about these people making sure that they give the beggars what the beggars need without trying to understand how the beggars took care of this such thing if they have given it to the people who need it the most. They don't care about such things. The only thing they always care about it is to please their puppet that you call your leaders. So that's exactly what matters to them. They make sure they help them secure the bag for themselves, as they will return the favor by allowing them to come in and take over what is coming out of your ground that could make you the greatest nation of all time. So it is actually trade by barter, a business that is between one person, because the only thing that these people, this unipolar system, they need is one person from your midst and give them the power of omnipotency. And once they grab that one person among you, they will use the one person to control you in a very, very negative way. That's why you are so poor. That's why you are dying in Mediterranean Sea. That's why you are dying in Sahara Desert. That's why you are being treated like an animal in Tunisia and Morocco. That is exactly the reason why. And these people that you found in the space of leadership, they do not care. They don't care about all these results and statistics coming out from these African nations, coming out from their people dying in Mediterranean Sea in its quest for the greener pasture, from their masters who control the system that they are running, because the system secures the bag for them and their family. So it does not matter. Any other person can die. Any other person can go to hell. For all they care. Now, that is the reason why they are pushing to restore Bazoum. Because as they are pushing, it is the West and the French that is pushing them, because they know they have a leverage against them. All of them in this ECOWAS region, the West have a leverage against them. If you want to come bring it to Nigeria, which is the recent one none of you are going to forget so quickly. The recent one in Nigeria, there are many things that the West have against him. From the forgery of the result. From the forgery of the result. The USA is actually trying to keep that as one of their leverage. There is a lot of things. Chicago 1999? Chicago 1999 case. They have it against him. So there is a lot of things that you will think about that these people, because if you look at this antecedent of this, presidential selection in most ECOWAS region, especially the giant of Africa, if you look at their antecedents, you will understand that there is always something that they have done, that the West, they know that they will use this thing to make sure they get back to these people in an event where they do not dance to their tone. So that is the reason why I will always tell you, they select somebody who has a criminal record. They select somebody who they have something on him, so that when that person decides to do something that is going to be beneficial to the nation, they will remove that person. But that is the reason why Goodluck Jonathan did not last in the position of power, because they had nothing against him. He was not even a born politician. He was just trying, Goodluck Jonathan just came into politics, and then, as God may have it, but people did not know that the regime of Goodluck Jonathan was supposed to open the eyes of Nigeria. He was not a regular politician, and he was educated. He is educated, rather. And now, immediately when he came into the position of power, immediately when they announced in 2013, the fastest growing economy in Africa. I still remember it like yesterday. Fastest growing economy in Africa between 2013-14. Boko Haram attack escalated. That is when you found Barack Obama started actually trying all his best to bring Buhari into the position of leadership. That was when he started pushing and even indirectly threatened the sitting president of Nigeria. Because for the first time, an incumbent president loses election in Nigeria. The reason why the incumbent president lost the election in Nigeria, it was because he is not their stooge. They did not put him there. They did not know how he got there. So they have to remove him because he is an educated man. Maybe he can negotiate better than every other person who has been in the position of that leadership. That's why you saw the incumbent government of Nigeria losing an election for the first time in the history of Nigeria politics. In 2015, Obama was there present. So let us continue to read. So now, and the latent animosity towards France surged, forcing Macron to cede the leadership to Washington. Now they are now trying to invite Washington into the matter. French is the colonial master of these, Francophone countries. But now the animosity, the hatred that these people have on him, because these people, they are parasites that do not want to let go. They are parasites on these Francophone countries, and they do not want to let go. And they are not hiding their intentions. Their policies are very, very, I will say that it is very, very formidable for them. But their policies is very, very harsh. Evil on their colonies. How can you take charge of 50% of their reserve? Before they will actually have access to them, they have to declare their financial, statement. They have to declare their financial year. It is very, very evil. That means there is no sovereignty in any of these Francophone countries. They do not have their territorial integrity. It is actually in the hands of the French. So they were not countries. They were still under colonization. That is the reason why I call it ceremonial independence that they have given to Africa. Because had it been Africa had their independence, they will be a member of United Nations Security Council and not artificial members of it. Just like Mugabe said that they were the artificial members of United Nations Security Council, because these people were slaves that need to be put under control of the master. That's why, and they are behaving like slaves. The unipolar system needed only one person to control millions of people. And that is the reason why they continuously promote democracy. That's why, because through democracy they can manipulate their ways into making this one person so powerful that they control them, then this one person control the rest of you. He formed a cabal to control the rest of you. Now let's continue. Not only France, but Western powers on the whole do not understand that African people have a highly politicized mindset thanks to the violent, bitterly fought national liberation movement. Unsurprisingly, Africa has been quick to adapt to the space opening up for them in the multipolar setting. To negotiate with the ex-colonial masters. Last Monday, General Abdurrahmani Tishiani, who is the titular head of the coup, refused to meet the U.S. Acting Deputy Secretary of State, Victoria Nuland. Nuland and other U.S. officials asked to see Bazoum in person, but that request was also turned down. That is a very good move for those military coupers or whatever they are called. It is a very good move that they did not allow these people to see Bazoum, because maybe if they had seen Bazoum, you know what is going to be. If they had seen Bazoum, maybe they were going to actually, you don't know what they have. You don't know what is their plan. You don't know what exactly is going to happen to Bazoum after they saw Bazoum, which will trigger a big scale of war. Because they have tried to convince ECOWAS bloc to invade Niger Republic without actually thinking about the consequences thereof. Because what they do is they go about causing wars, shadow wars, because they know they cannot engage. Remember, this is exactly what we are talking about the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was domiciled in UK, in Britain. Britain could not do anything, even though they wanted at all costs to do something to him. But they could not, because they are bound in their policies and they are bound in their law. They cannot contravene the law in their land. Rather, they will use a proxy and they will use a location where their proxy is going to materialize the plan. That's what they did. They now sell the security details immediately when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu left Britain for Kenya. Now through Kenya, in the land of Africa, where crime is prevalent, where crime is culture, they decided to say, no, we are going to handle it here. Let's do it there. They now decided to use Uhuru Kenyatta to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. From kidnapping, that's why immediately when they finished the kidnapping, you found all of them traveling to Britain in the name of they are going for, hunger program. All of them met in Britain. Uhuru Kenyatta was there. Imposter in Asari was in Britain. Many of them, they went to Britain. If you remember the interview that was conducted by Arise News, by they granted Catriona Lang, which they call Mazen Nnamdi Kanu being the big elephant in the room. It is about education program, not hunger program, education program. Summit they went in the UK. So it is actually how they roll. So they have decided to push ECOWAS, push them in all ramifications to see if they are going to engage in that war going on. But they're now seeing that there is many backlashes coming from against ECOWAS and their leaders, coming from the nations that made ECOWAS, or nations that is still under this ECOWAS, because of course we know that 5 nations in ECOWAS already, they have done military coup and they are backing up one another. So if 15 countries is made up of ECOWAS, or if ECOWAS is made up of 15 countries, I believe 5 is now no longer is a solid part of them. So now they have push is not happening. So if I tell you that that visit is unusual, to go and visit Bazoum where he is in the hands of in the captivity, I want you to know that it is not just ordinary visit. Believe you me, I don't want to be controversial about it, but I am telling you based on my own perspective that I formulated, having seen how, the situation of things. I formulated my perspective that visit to see Bazoum, it was the best thing that they did by not allowing them to see that man who is their stooge. Because they know that one thing they have, or the coup leaders have as a leverage against this ECOWAS stooge of the West, ECOWAS stooge supporters of unipolar system. They know exactly that the only leverage they have is Bazoum. And I will tell you very soon the reason why I call Bazoum their own leverage. Listen, let us continue to read. Nuland had to negotiate with the commander of Niger's Special Operation Forces and one of the leaders of the coup, Brig General Musa Salo Bamo, who serves as Chief of Defense. You will hear that even some of these coup leaders were trained by the US. Interestingly, Bamo had attended the U.S. National Defense University and was trained at Fort Benning in Georgia. Obviously, the junta hoped to engage with Washington. The Intercept has since exposed that Bamo was not the only Nigerian general trained by the U.S. who was involved in the coup. It said, 2 weeks after Niger coup, the State Department has still not provided a list of the U.S.-connected mutineers. But a different U.S. official confirmed that there are 5 people we've identified as having received U.S. military training. Conceivably, Washington is keeping its card close to the chest and is keeping the Russians guessing. Oh, they are using it to keep the Russians guessing, to know if there will be a sabotage. They are using it to see if there will be a sabotage. You know why I like when I see a news written by Indians? They are not biased. They are never biased. When the war broke out in Ukraine, one Indian journalist came and said that this is a proxy war. This is a protracted war. When they are reporting their news, they don't report it in a biased formula. Just like many of you know that Obama's chief just died in July 26. July 26, the black guy that is a chief to Obama. He just died. If you see how the Indians, media reported it, you will know that this is this is a media houses that you can actually get a proper information from. They are diplomatic, very, very diplomatic, and they are not biased. So listen very much. Listen very, and then we are going to the Obama's chef who died. His death is a mystery, which is it's going to be a topic for another day, because we know the stories behind that death. It is not ordinary. So now let us continue from here. So they are keeping the Russia guessing on what exactly is going on in Niger Republic. Could it be there is American, ally inside the coup group? So, but it is going to clear everything. Let's continue. The U.S. faces a messy situation in Niger. Its priority are twofold. Its priority are twofold. One, block any Russian move to have Wagner fighters replace the French contingent in Niger. And two, keep its 3 bases in Niger, come what may. If the Biden administration has not formally labeled the military takeover in Niger a coup, it is because such a designation will not permit further security assistance to Niger, where the U.S. has they have 1,100 strong military presence and, more importantly, a drone base known as Air Base 201 near Agadez in central Niger, built at the cost of more than $100 million, which has been used since 2018 for operations in Sahel region. Now, a Reuters report stated, one of the U.S. officials said if Wagner fighters turn up in Niger, it would not automatically mean U.S. forces would have to leave. It will not automatically mean U.S. forces would have to leave. The official said a scenario where a few dozen Wagner forces based themselves in Niger's capital, Niamey, is unlikely to affect the U.S. military presence. But if thousands of Wagner fighters spread across the country, including near Agadez, problems could arise because of safety concern for U.S. personnel. Regardless, the U.S. will put a high bar for any decision to leave the country. They will put a high bar for any decision to leave the country, because hey, there is the things in that country, they cannot, it is something that we cannot let go. In this bizarre shadow play between Washington and Moscow, did you see where it is the energies are coming from? The U.S. may not push for military intervention in Niger by the ECOWAS, lest its military presence in Niger becomes untenable. Of course, the coup leaders in Niamey have also been smart enough not to take any demand so far to remove American troops from Niger. It is one of their leverage as well. It is one of their leverage. Against this murky backdrop, the U.S. State Department announcement on Wednesday that new American ambassador to Niger, Kathleen Fitzgibbon, formerly number 2 in the embassy in Nigeria. Is it Nigeria? Yeah, in Nigeria. You cannot even differentiate Nigeria and Nigeria. Will arrive in Niamey later this week comes as no surprise. It is a signal of Washington's confidence about continued engagement with the situation. The State Department Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel told reporters that there are no plans for the new ambassador to present credentials to coup leader. Oh, they are not going to present credential to coup leader. They just go into the country. Did you see did you hear that? Let me read it again. Maybe I did not understand it. The new American ambassador to Niger, Kathleen Gibbon, formerly number 2 in the embassy in Nigeria, will arrive in Niamey later this week. Comes as no surprise. It is a signal of Washington's confidence about continued engagement with the situation. The State Department Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel told reporters that there are no plans for the new ambassador to present credentials to coup leader. Okay. To present credentials to coup leader. Okay. Meanwhile, the African Union Peace and Security Council, the organ in charge of enforcing the bloc's decision, met at Addis Ababa on Monday and rejected an ECOWAS proposal on military intervention in Niger. Several southern and northern African member countries were fiercely against any military intervention. That is for you to know that ECOWAS is already divided. That's it. Taken together, these developments have put the ECOWAS on the back foot. To compound matters, the coup leader have since announced their intention to put Bazoum on trial for high treason and undermining state security. Interestingly, the military regime claimed to have gathered the necessary evidence to prosecute before competent national and international authorities the ousted president and his local and foreign accomplices. All right, that's interesting. Bazoum is being charged following his post-coup exchanges with high-ranking West African politicians and their international mentors, whom the coup leader accused of making false allegations and attempting to derail a peaceful transition in order to justify a military intervention. This development coupled with growing domestic opposition within Nigeria, or is it Nigeria or Nigeria? But it is still the same spelling. Between Nigeria, which had the ECOWAS, okay, this one is Nigeria, which had the ECOWAS, currently has first appear to be President Bola Tinubu to shift his stance on military intervention. A powerful Nigerian delegation comprising top Islamic clerics traveled to Niger to open talks with the junta, which promptly agreed to dialogue with ECOWAS on the way forward in the country. With the passage of time, the ECOWAS is losing the initiative, which works to the advantage of the coup leader. Wow. Interesting. Basically, why poor governance, rampant corruption, escalating poverty and insecurity has created condition for the coup in Sahel region. A deeper factor is the geopolitics of resources, resource access and the control. Foreign powers are competing to explore and control the abundant mineral resources of West African nations. Did you hear that? That is only what these foreign powers are looking for. What this unipolar system is looking for, or what this imperialist system is looking for. It is the resources that is coming out of there. It is nothing to do with anybody. It has nothing to do with ordinary individuals who are suffering in this their geopolitical, quagmire. It is the children of the people. It is the ordinary people on the ground who are suffering the heat of all this evil and atrocious behavior of this unipolar system. It is the ordinary people that are suffering it, not the government, not even Bazoum. If you decide to leave Bazoum today, Bazoum is going to run away. He is rich. He has enriched himself. He is of Arab origin. Mineral resources, the problem of Africa. Now, let's continue. Let's finalize. The ascendant tension in Niger and the wider sub-region are no doubt exacerbated by the geopolitical and economic rivalry between the East and the West. The specter that haunts West Africa is the proxy war. Between Russia and the US. Can easily creep into Africa, where Russian mercenaries and Western special forces are already stationed for new assignment. Hi, Africa, African people, ECOWAS. And there are many comments. Biden, there are many comments that came with this. Many comments. Let us actually try to see what the comment looks like. From this one, say his name is Badra Kumar. He say, Putin, the West has never truly apologized for the global slave trade, the genocide of the native people of the North America, the plundering of India and African, the opium wars waged by France and Britain against China in the 19th century. They have never apologized. And they are not even trying to apologize. The only thing they want is to continue to exploit and control. They have never tried to say, no, we have done wrong to these people. They claim that June 19th, the slave era ended, but it has never ended. It went into neo-slavery. Anything they end physically, they bring it back systematically. That's what they have been doing. And the only thing, that is the reason why I will always say that when these things that we are facing is going to come upon them, because it is going to come back to them in 100-folds. All of their people, you see the Europeans, when we tell them, we talk about them apologizing for their heinous crime against African and the people of Africa, they will actually sweep it under the carpet, trying to act like they are the best people. They own you because they don't want to let go of this their hegemony. Now, that is the reason why when their own calamity is going to come, nobody is going to actually pity them. Because those people, there are people you see, they might be a good people amongst them. There are good people amongst them. There are odd people who don't understand amongst them, but does not mean they are not hearing the cry of African children. But they decide to keep quiet. Because if they are really good people in Europe and America, the thing they need to do is to protest on behalf of Africa. To protest on behalf of Africa for what their own elite is doing against Africa, against the people of Africa. Because when it actually gets to their doorstep, you know what they are going to tell you? We are all human. Why can't we live? We are all human. They will remember that we are all human because something is against them. Once it is against African people that is caused by them, they will remember, no, these are Homo erectus. They are not of Homo sapiens. These are monkeys. Baboons are monkeys. So it doesn't concern them. So it is actually obvious that all of them, they are benefiting from the calamities and the killing and all this untimely death of the children of Africa, men and women, which are actually dying in the Mediterranean Sea, the Sahara Desert, trying to make their ways into Europe for a greener pasture. They are seeing that. They have never come to ask question. Why is such thing happening? The only thing they will say, it is bad governance. Bad governance. Who makes sure that there is a bad governance in Africa? It is the people of Europe, the unitaries, the unipolar system are the ones who control everybody through one evil leader. They control everyone through one evil leader. Another comment says Europeans have been nicely played by Americans. Russia is looking for an all-out victory and will not settle for anything less than friendly government in Kyiv. Western politicians, including Biden, understand that there is nothing stopping Russians now. Okay. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban interview with German press. Anyone who seriously believes that the war can be ended through Russia-Ukraine negotiation lives in another world. Reality look different. Biden has understood Russia cannot be defeated in Ukraine. He is getting a vague sense, perhaps, that Russia isn't exactly seeing things in Ukraine as a binary of victory and defeat, but is gearing up for the long haul to sort out NATO once and for all. Now, there was something we were talking about yesterday. We were talking about the reason why these people will never, the reason why we are no longer hearing about Russia-Ukraine war. The media has grown fatigue. The media, they've grown fatigue. They are no longer talking about it because now it is no longer as planned. The war is no longer as planned. So it is the shadow war. The same way you are hearing about ECOWAS trying to go to war. ECOWAS is trying to engage. And at the end of the day, once they engage, the atrocities that will be committing in those areas, you will not see it in the media. Because it is black people that are dying now. It is, or maybe they will show it and say blacks are killing themselves. Because it was all about pushing a narrative that blacks hate themselves. That is the reason why they have bad leader. It is all about pushing a narrative that they are the ones doing themselves what is happening to themselves. That is why, they will select that criminal who call themselves the candidate. It is always about that. Somebody who does not have any love for human. They will select them and place them there. Control them through their proxy. It is very, very, important for us to understand this Western hegemony on Africa. It will never go away. Chinese fought their ways out. Indians fought their ways out. Indians are doing well. India is the next, is going to be the next manufacturing place of the world. They are reindustrializing India. They are actually doing great job in India. And I believe joining BRICS and this BRICS that is actually coming up and bringing up a new currency that is going to be used, which is exactly the sign of multipolar system. It is no longer uni or it is no longer bio. It is now the sign of multipolar system. When there is a currency that is able to compete with the US dollars, when there is a currency that you can use to trade other than the US dollars, we say that the US is owing maybe more than 500 trillion, but they are owing their money in dollars. They can print dollar to pay this money. For you to know, they can wake up one morning, print dollar and pay this money because it is a fiat money. That's why they made the dollar to be fiat money. It is no longer backed up by anything, any essential commodities. It is now a fiat money. They can print it anytime they want. So if they print it and pay their loan, So these things are actually setups we see, so that when you say US is owing this big amount, if US is owing this big amount, Nigeria can actually borrow more or closer to that amount without you thinking about the consequences and on which currency are you borrowing and on which currency are they owing this money. So many of African leaders and their economists will say, if US is owing this big amount, you can as well borrow to owe your own. And you borrow it and you share it amongst they share it amongst themselves without understanding exactly, the setup, without understanding exactly what is driving the US debt and their borrowing. So there is a video I want to play for you before we go to Asari Dokubo straight. That video, let me now give a secret to this ECOWAS. Let me just give them a secret. We know that they are pushing because the West is pushing them. The reason why they are pushing, it is only because they know that there is no other way that they will please their masters other than trying to, because their masters must have told them, if you do not sort this issue of coup out, that means there will be a time it is going to come to your doorstep. We have projected that, or we have seen the plan for another coup in the West African region, and that could be one of you. So that is the reason why they will not, that will be the reason why they will not actually, they will be fighting tooth and nail in order to make sure that this coup will not happen, or that they actually go in there and start a war. The only reason why they are giving them all those things, it is for them to go to start a war in that Niger Republic. I want you to see this. I hope you can see this. This is the last meeting that they have had, and in this meeting they have come to terms with what to do next. They have come to terms with what to do next in case if the diplomatic engagement does not work. So they have come to terms with the next thing in line that they are going to do. I am going to play it, but I don't want to, I am going to play it and listen to it. Listen to it while I'm playing it.
That is what we want to, inform you about, and that as soon as our heads of state and cabinet are satisfied with the report that has been presented, our troops across the region are ready, and they are ready to call, respond to the call of duty of the region. We are not against the Republic of Niger. We have said, just as the chief...
You see how they lie to themselves. They are not against the Republic of Niger, but you have switched off their electricity. You have switched off the light, which affect the ordinary people on the ground. Yet you are deceiving yourself that you are not against the Republic of Niger. If you are not against the Republic of Niger, how come the ordinary people, we have not seen them actually condemning, not even in the media space? There are Nigerians who are other places in Europe. We have not seen them tweeting. We have not seen them speaking against the military coup. So who exactly is the one that you are against if you say you are not against the Niger people? Because Niger people are actually in support of the new development. So why can't you respect the sovereignty of their support? Why can't you respect the sovereignty of that nation? Because if you say you are not against them, you have sanctioned them, you have closed border against them, switch off the light against them. So what else are you going to do for people to know you are against them? Because the military, even if the military are in government, they will find a way to survive. What about the ordinary people on the ground? How are they going to fare? Because all these things are the reason why people want to dethrone dollars today, it is because of this dollar embargo. They use dollar to place an embargo on nations. That is the reason why there is a call for multipolar system in the world, because of what they have done in Cuba, Zimbabwe, they have done to North Korea, Russia, these embargoes they have placed on these people, including Iran. Even at the end, their government is thriving. So that is the reason why it is very, very necessary for this unipolar system to be done away with. It has never helped anybody. And why is it that these ECOWAS, they are still living in their 19th centuries when we're already into the 21st centuries? That is actually what is pissing me off. But let's listen to him for a few seconds, then we hear what he has to say, then we will give them a secret.
The Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff has just said, that all the options are on the table. And as we speak, we are still readying mediation mission into the country. So we've not shut any door. We've not shut any door at all. The sanctions are also on the table. And if they respond favorably, to the request by the Authority of Heads of State for dialogue,
okay,
we are ready to accept. All we are saying is that we are not going to engage in this dialogue. It must be fruitful,
okay,
and its objective must be the restoration of constitutional order in the shortest possible time possible.
So that is not a dialogue. That is a command. If you are listening to this, which I am done playing, is that a dialogue or a command? That is a command. It is not a dialogue. It must be fruitful. And it is actually to restore constitutional whatever, which is all about bringing back the stooge of the West and placing him to control the rest of the country and use their resources as a leverage. That is not a dialogue. That is actually placing a command. If you don't meet this, we will deal with you. That's exactly what it is. Now, he said there is a possible military intervention. Let's hear that one. Once we hear that one, we move to something else. Then I need to tell them something when they are thinking of military intervention, so that you will see how these people will appear unwise. Listen.
The shortest possible time. We are also calling for the release of the legitimate president of the Republic of Niger, His Excellency Mohamed Bazoum, and his family, and members of his government who are being held hostage, by the regime in Niger. This is our message, to them, that our doors are open, but we are not going to engage in endless dialogue. That is why we say all options are on the table.
All right.
If they want to take the peaceful pathway to very early restoration of constitutional order in the country, then we can stand down the military option. Because it is not our preferred option.
It is a command.
We are being obliged to do it because of the intransigence and the obstacles of the regime and the obstacles they've been putting in the way of a negotiated settlement to the restoration of constitutional order.
Wow.
This is our message, and I don't think you are going to ask me a question about when we are deploying. I cannot even answer that. That is left to the chair of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff and the colleagues who have that. It is an operational tool, okay, that we don't disclose it. So we hope you are not going to ask that question. All I can tell you is that we are ready, equipment-wise, the political will of the countries involved, all of them, around this table.
Okay. These are the people who are calling for a restoring democratic process and the constitutional process in the country. Now, he said that they have political will to engage militarily. Now, if you come to Nigeria, you will understand that the Nigeria, legislatures, they did not support the government of the day in the deployment of the military to Niger Republic. If you go to Ghana, the same thing is playing there. There is also a pushback not to deploy Ghanaian soldiers to Niger Republic to go and die. The same thing applicable to many countries. Democracy is all about three arms of government where legislatures, the policymakers, the president need to actually engage with them. If they say no, that is no. Otherwise, the president will go to court. Except if the president get a court order to overrule the legislature. That's the only way obtainable for president to make a move under democratic dispensation. But if the president now undermine all these legislatures and not go to court to obtain a court order to carry out this plan, it means they have undermined a democratic process. And they are claiming they are going to restore a democratic constitutional order, which is democratic process in Niger Republic. So what do you call that? People who are fighting for what they preach that they don't practice. That's exactly what is happening here. That's exactly what is happening here. It is very, very simple. Now, they are telling you they don't want to engage in a long-term or fruitless dialogue because their body is pushing them. We must go for this war. We must go for this war. Now your body is pushing you. You must go for this war, and you will go for the war if in case these people just did a coup. At the end of the day, they will say, no, we are sorry. We are restoring back the president. We are sorry. And in your widest dream, you believe it is the way it is going to come. And that the reason why they are telling you they will not engage in a long-term fruitless engagement, it is because they know that what they are doing there is just a formality. The primary plan is to cause a war in sub-Saharan region. And we are going to enjoy it. If they cause a war, and if they don't go to that war, shame on them. They are all cowards. We are going to enjoy it. Now, let us see. Because, of course, people like me and other people who have actually collected the inhuman treatment from the hands of the military of Nigeria and other West African military, they are going to enjoy it. I am telling you the honest truth. They are going to enjoy it. Because ECOWAS region want to now, make that area a war zone. Maybe they will be making a war zone while the Islamic State will now see, loopholes to go invade into the country and declare Islamic State in these countries. That is a security information. According to the algorithm, what is to come in some part of these people who are going to deploy their military, that is intelligent report I'm going to give you. But I just try to do that because, for you guys to understand that we are following the algorithm. And the next thing you are going to understand now is that if you go and engage in such war, which if you don't engage it, you are a coward. because there is no way Bazoum is going to be restored. You engage in a war where Bazoum you are fighting to restore or to bring, to restore into the position of power, because the opinion of ordinary people does not matter. Yet you are championing democracy, and then you actually bring back, you bring war upon the Niger people in the quest to restore Bazoum as a president. Do you think that the military coup leaders, they are so stupid that you will be killing them just because of one man in their captive, and they will leave him to be alive so that you will get to him and restore him? You people are delusional. That is the thing that happens to black people when they become leadership. They are very, very delusional. So you will watch the military leaders watching you, telling you, come kill us. We are going to die. We have accepted our fate. And Bazoum will be alive there, clapping for you people. Don't you know that the military coup is holding Bazoum as a leverage of the war? That is the only place I am going. I have done you guys the biggest favor I have to do you. First is the Islamic State. Second is the Bazoum life. That is this, the best I can give you right now. We are waiting for that war. If you don't fight it, shame on you. And secondly, so many of these leaders, they know that the people who place them there, it is in their best interest. You are fighting to restore neocolonial habitat. That is what they are fighting to restore in Niger Republic. The neocolonial habitat in Niger Republic. Now, upon that, you are actually not following the will of the people under this dispensation. You are not following the will of the people. When it says that, power belongs to the people, the sovereignty of every nation under democratic dispensation is of the people. So why are we now discussing this? You make a war, you kill people, you displace people. Now you open your border, because when you go to war, you have to open your border for the people that are going to be in that epicenter of the war to migrate, to be displaced, to become asylum seeker. You are opening that ground. Do you have the capacity to actually harbor them? These are the things we need to think about. We must go to war, because West Africa, they like war, and they have never fought any war to elevate themselves or to remove themselves from this neocolonialism, not in the hands of neocolonialists. They have never fought a war against the imperial power. They will always fight a war, just like 1967. Nigeria fought a war to actually, to continue in the shackle of neocolonialism. 1967, more than 3.5 million women and children of Biafra died. This Niger Republic we are actually preaching for, they help to kill our people. That's how generous we are. We are not killers like them. That is the reason why we always, we know the importance of life, humanity. We have humanity. We know how important it is to save lives. That's why we are doing what we are doing. But for you to know that the West African region, if this coup that is taking place is actually those that are fighting for their liberation, if not that, the leaders under democratic dispensation in West African bloc, which is ECOWAS, they will never fight against the neo-colonial power. They will continue to be their stooge, because it is all about them. It is in a West African nations where you will see a person who loot the whole country money. When he is passing, he will be passing and throwing money on air. People will be saluting him, taking it. That is the reason why the nation was called. Donald Trump gave Africa the name he gave them. Because he told you, you celebrate your criminals. It is prevalent in West Africa, where people will come and be, you heard that this president, he was there, or this governor, he was there, he killed so many people, he did everything, he embezzled the whole money. But when he come around and just throw money, maybe 5 naira or 10 naira, throwing it on the air, people are running, praising him, dancing and saluting him, praising your boogeyman. Stockholm syndrome. It is prevalent in West African region, and that is the reason why they are not willing to fight or push back on the activities or the excess of the neo-colonial power against them or against her. They open themselves, made sure that the neo-colonial power made sure that they deindustrialize all these places. Deindustrialize all these places. That's why the raw material that is going out of there, it is going and they are selling it as a black market, almost as a black market. You will have maybe 5 different essential raw material, 5 different essential raw material, just like Nigeria has. Nigeria have 5 different raw material, essential. They have more than 5 raw material, which is Nigeria. They have oil, which they have now used as their primary GDP or commodity. They have gold. It does not come, they don't add it to their raw material, that the ones that they're exporting. They have californium. It is nowhere to be talked about. They have uranium. It is nowhere to be talked about. They have timber. They have, they also have cocoa. They have coal. They have many things. But they are dependent on oil. Oil and gas. To the extent of piping the oil from Biafra land to Europe through Niger Republic. That is part of the reason why the West is fighting through them to make sure they secure that deal while exploiting the uranium that is still in Niger Republic. That is very bad. This is going to open the eyes of the West African region and the whole world that the reason why Nigeria fought against Biafra is because the West African cabals, in the name of ECOWAS, they are truly against any form of economic integration. They are very, very, they are well conscious against radical economic transformation of their various countries. They do not want radical transformation in their economy. They do not want hands-off African economy. They do not want this integration to a new world. They do not want to support the initiative of multipolarism. They don't want these things. It is all about what they want. It is because what they practice in their various countries. It is unipolar, where one person possesses all the power while commanding and intimidating the rest of the people. That's the only thing that pleases them. They do not pray for people to wake up and make money. They want people to be impoverished so that they will be in their mercy, so that people have to pray to them the way, it looks like, what is going on in Africa. Africa is actually like we are praying to Europe. That's why they decide to paint Jesus white, So that when we are praying to the white Jesus, automatically we are praying to Europe. Europe, please give us daily bread. Europe, please give us free money. Europe, please come and take our resources, give us technology. Don't give us technology, bring us what comes out of the technology. Europe, don't give us industrialization. De-industrialize us, we will buy finished product from you. Europe, do that is exactly what it looks like. And Nigeria is the epicenter of this behavior. That's why they gave it Giant of Africa. That is the reason why in 1967 there was a war. And that war was to fight against every form of neocolonialism. Had it been we succeeded, you will find a country that is better than China in Africa. You will going to find a country that is industrialized, like more than China. You will find a country that has infrastructural development like Dubai. But imagine as early as more than 50 years ago, we were able to discover this, that the only way we can be free from these activities of neocolonialism, because the colonialism ended 7 years before the war. And after 7 years of, so-called their bogus independence, we discovered that no, these people are still in control. And that is the reason why they did not actually abolish the amalgamation before the independence, that this amalgamation is going to be their organ, the organ for economic exploitation and economic sabotage. It is going to be their organ for neo-slavery, whereby the slaves are not going to be transported by force. Rather, the slave will find every possible means to bring themselves to the master in order to be used for a cheap labor. That's exactly what's going on. And that is the reason why all of us are not in Nigeria. We are all serving our slave master, one way or the other. In the various countries where you are domiciled, sometimes you don't have a paperwork. And then you will find people using you for a cheap labor. They are exploiting you indirectly because you don't have what it takes to be in the labor space or in the job that you are, or whichever menial job you are doing. They will exploit you. They will make you a cheap laborer. That's why we decided, our parents decided, no, we saw this coming. Let us break free from this. Because had it been Biafra broke free from this Nigeria, it means that Biafra cannot be colonized. We were not colonized anymore. We will be an independent nation, absolutely independent nation. That was what it was going to be. Because at some point, Nigeria was running on a true federalism, regionalism. They know that Nigeria running on regionalism, people were doing great. They cut it off. Now, before the war, for you to see how peaceful and lovely our people were, Ojukwu decided that let us propose to Nigeria, because we have seen the amalgamation is not working. We have seen the hatred that is within these people that were brought together to be called one nation. Ojukwu decided, since we had true federalism, there was economic growth. People were doing well. Ojukwu went to Aburi to negotiate that economic after the coup of the so-called Nzogu coup, which was well orchestrated by Britain. And that Nzogu coup was to cause chaos. they use an Igbo man because they know of course, if you check the way they graded the regions in Nigeria, you will understand that they use the one they call so-called South-South. Nzogu is from so-called South-South. He's not from the Southeast, which is where the Igbos are. Where they call the Igbo land. Now, they use the Igbo man. And they use Yoruba man. There is a Yoruba man. They use all of the ethnic group. They place them under Igbo man to carry out this coup, of which after this coup, the coup failed. The coup was going to be a secret revolution, taking out all these people who negotiated the independent. Well orchestrated. And knowing that when they took out all these men who negotiated the independent, then Nigeria will be free. That's what Britain used to convince these coup leaders. And they carried out the coup. And it failed. They actually bring people, they recruited people who will make the coup to fail. Not just that they recruited the coup leaders. They actually recruited people who will make the coup to fail. So that they will be it will be a forever, cutting of the rope that if you join them, it will never be complete again. There will be problem in every geopolitical region against one another. That is the reason why they decided now the coup failed. Now there is a chaos. The Hausa people started killing the Igbo people in the north to the extent of killing a pregnant woman, remove the fetus inside the stomach of the pregnant woman, smashing it on the wall. For you to see the hatred, how evil such hatred was, or is still are. When Ojukwu decided to saw all these things, he started making a plan for his people to save the lives of his people from these vultures. Because they have now labeled it is an Igbo coup. But every region was involved. Every region was involved in such coup. They called it the quiet revolution. At the end of the day, they started killing our people. They killed more than 34,000 of our people. More than 34,000. Then, well, guess what? Ojukwu decided, no, we are going to declare Biafra. But before then, they went to Aburi with Gowon, whom became the president under president of Nigeria. After they have killed our president, which is of our ethnic group, Aguiyi, they killed him like nobody. They killed a sitting president like nobody. It was another coup that killed him. But they don't talk about that coup. They only talk about Nzogu coup. And Nzogu coup was not the reason why Aguiyi became the president. Aguiyi became the president out of merit. And now, when he became a president, he was trying to negotiate to make one Nigeria, to bring peace. He used Hausa people to be his second, to surround himself, without knowing the danger. That's why they planned a coup. They overthrew him. Not just that they overthrew him, they killed him like nobody. They killed him like nobody. Dump his body, a sitting president. Then when Ojukwu went to negotiate with the next president, which was Gowon, and they went to Aburi in Ghana to say, since this is happening, let us go back to regionalism, where everybody will manage their resources, everybody will be on their own and pay tax to the central government. Just like America are running on regionalism, which is true federalism. Ojukwu negotiated with Gowon in Aburi, and Gowon agreed. Ojukwu came with lawyers. They agreed, they signed. Then, after the agreement was made, the same mastermind that does not ever want peace in that area of sub-Saharan, which they have created for profit, not for mankind, they decided to call on Gowon because they monitor everything that is going on. They call on Gowon and say to Gowon, don't agree with the negotiation that you had with Ojukwu. And they actually convince him that he will be a ceremonial president, that he will have no power, because they know power intoxication is what kills black people. It's actually what destroys a nation of black people. Once they don't know how to handle power because they were mesmerized mentally. It is not like they didn't know pre-colonialism. They knew, and they were doing it very well. But immediately after colonialism, they knew that we have worked on these people's mind. The only thing they are looking for is power, and the power intoxication. Power intoxicates them. Now, when you understand the reason why when you see a black man, you give them power, they become another thing. Even though if they are good before, they become something else. It is because they were deprived of this power for very many years. They were deprived of many opportunities for very many years. They were deprived of all these things. And when you give them power now, they will say, no, opportunity come but once. We will utilize this opportunity. They want to fly. They want to be like the supreme God. They see themselves as something else because it has been something that you were deprived of for very many years. So they understood the work they have done in the mind of black people. They decided to say, if you are going to become a ceremonial president, if you agree in the Aburi Accord agreement, if you decide to carry out that regionalism, which they know it will bring economic growth and stability in the various regions, British decided to say no and go on, dance to the tone of Britain. And Ojukwu decided, since you have flouted the agreement, I will declare Biafra because my people are already dying in the hands of Nigeria. Ojukwu decided to declare Biafra. And Britain decided to, through Gowon, it was a proxy war, a shadow war. Through Gowon, they invaded Biafra land. They started the fight. And the fight actually proceeded, took the lives of mother and children. My grandmother and my supposedly uncle died during that war because my grandmother and the son, which was still young, they went in search of food because there is already drought. During the time of drought, the child went with them, with her mom. They died along the road because they lack nutrition. There is drought. They did food barricade. They block every entrance where food is going to be assessed in Biafra land. They block food supply. After making sure that no nation supply us weapon. And they saw that we were able to manufacture our weapon. 1967. More than 54 years ago. We were able to, you make use of our locally made weapon to withstand the British artilleries. And at the end of the day, they had to block the food supply. That our non-combatants started dying more than the combatants, to the extent of more than 3.5 million women and children died in that war. But at the end of the day, what happened? We had to surrender because there is no other way to do it. And they came back. If you had 1 million in your account, they give you 20 pounds. If you had property, 20 pounds. You will have to start afresh. Our people started afresh. Our people have individually millionaire. The highest number of individual millionaires in Nigeria today, after 50-something years. What make you think that we cannot be better than China? Had it been we were opportune to have that freedom that they deprived us of. That is what happened. So that is exactly one of the things we need to keep reminding the people of ECOWAS and the people of the world. We know the war they are going to fight. It is the war against African development. It is the war against the change in Africa. That is the war they are going to fight in ECOWAS. Nigeria started the war in 1967 against any form of development, against any form of new Africa. That is the war that is raging again in Niger Republic. They want to do to them what they did to Biafra. But I don't know if the people of Africa are going to watch it happen. Nigeria is the biggest enemy of African growth. Nigeria is the biggest enemy of African development. That is the reason why they decided to give them the chair of ECOWAS. That's why whenever we talk, we tell you that disintegration of Nigeria is the freedom of Africa. Because they know the reason why they call them giant of Africa. And they know the reason why they decided to give the president of Nigeria the ECOWAS leader. Because they know Nigeria know how to do it best. They know how to be the colonial stooge. They know how to work for colonialism. They know how to, go for a shadow war. They know it very well. They did it against us. It is not the first time. It is in their history. So, that is the reason why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu came up again to continue the fight, because we have seen and we have waited for Nigeria to change. After they called it no victor, no vanquish, after killing more than 3.5 million women and children, they come to lie to themselves to say no victor, no vanquish. Live and let's live. Marginalization started from that day until the date that we are here, until today. That is, what is today's date? 19th of August. The marginalization exacerbated. The exclusion, the killing extrajudiciously, emasculation continued. And since that time, our people were running helter-skelter to leave Nigeria, including through Sahara Desert and Mediterranean Sea. It is our people running that run, because if not police brutality that kills you, it is going to be the military. It is going to be the SARS harvesting their organs. So they are looking for a better future. They are going out there trying to do whatever it will take them to make money, to take care of their loved ones that is left behind. That's why you find so many of them are on a death row in China, in Indonesia, because whatever they try to do to make money to see if they will actually go back there to rescue their family. They do all sort of rubbish, all sort of stupid things, knowing they are going to die or they are going to get into a trouble. They did them anyway, just because, they feel the pain of their people. They feel they can see the trouble. And Nigeria has been, one thing that Nigeria has been good about is that they will never show the world the struggle. They only show the world the problem. That is it. And that is the reason why let me show you the epitome of what I am talking about. The real epitome of what I am talking about. Playing out right in front of us. Let's go to Asari Dokubo so that you will understand exactly the thing we are talking about. Let me play that video of Asari Dokubo and let us actually teach him the politics that he thinks he knows.
Hello, good afternoon.
I'm going to play it from the phone so that we will follow.
Good morning, good evening, depending on where you are.
One moment. Somebody said that Portuguese language is a slave name. Somebody said that Portuguese language is a slave name. Let me, before we go to Asari Dokubo, because they have been talking about Biafra being Portuguese language. They've been talking about Biafra being a Portuguese language. Let me try to see if I will bring up something that will clear your doubt. Let's see if I will bring up something that will clear that doubt. Because it is part of the things they will use to brainwash our people. We are very prepared. Let me teach you, because this argument came up at some point. Let me just give you a response of this argument from Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, so that you will remember, because some of you believe that you know, but you know nothing. Let me show you. Biafra is not Portuguese. Bia is the language of our people. Bia means come here, come. And you call it a Portuguese language. You don't know that there is many languages that were borrowed during colonialism. You don't know that Nigeria you see today was named by Britain, and Niger area. It was French and Portuguese that later changed it and baptized it to Nigeria. Let's see. Africa you see today was called Aferi. It was French and Portuguese that call it Africa. But it is all about, it was called Aferi by the English. So one thing that our people need to understand, that there are words that were borrowed from our languages, and they use it and they form it in the name of their own language. Those are the things we need to understand, because it will help us to thrive. It's just that this person is going to make me to, spend more time, but I need to teach him. I need to educate him. I need to educate that ignorance, because it is not only about him. This has been a problem that has been there. I'm trying to find that where he made the clarity. Listen to it. Or should I bring it to the video? Let me bring it to the screen so it will be easier. Let me bring it to the screen.
The question I want to ask.
Let's bring it to the screen.
The Biafra, which is always sound Biafra, this is where some issues come about. Where does this connotation come from? And
wait first, wait. One moment, let's bring it to you so that you will hear it correctly. We don't champion, we don't borrow from European words. European borrow from our words because we are the ancient people. You know, they borrow from our own, words. We are the ancient people. So listen and learn. So that next time when someone tell you about, when someone come to you and tell you why did you borrow from European word, then you will educate them. The person who is called Felix John, you tell me I'm lying. I know you are.
And the question I want to ask,
you are just there,
is that the Biafra, which is always sound Biafra, this is where some issues come about. Where does this connotation come from? And who are the people behind this Biafra? That is the first question I want to first ask before I ask other question again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You said you're South, so you accept the tag of being from South and Niger Delta. Two names that have no meaning. There is nowhere in this world, in any geography textbook, where you can see South. There is a river called River Nile that runs into the Mediterranean Sea in Alexandria in Egypt. That place is called the Delta region of the Nile. The Mississippi River also has a delta. So what I'm trying to get across to you, my dear brother, is that the name Delta has no meaning. It is only a name answered by people who are not sure of who they are, people who are confused. And the Izon nation is not a confused nation. If you say Izon nation, I will listen to you. If you say Ijo nation, I would listen to you. But that concoction of South or Niger Delta doesn't work with me, because only people who are not sure of who they are will answer Niger Delta or South, because South doesn't exist. It was a mere concoction by Dr. Alex Ekweme, which they agreed to. So why don't you have North? Where is West or East? You and I have more in common than a Fulani man and a Hausa man living in Sokoto. But I give it to you. You want to be alone. You want to divide. I concede. I'm a Democrat. I don't care where people want to stay. But coming to your question, the man that should have answered this question is an Ijo man, Frank Opigo. And when he came up with the name Biafra, people were confused. But God did one thing that was miraculous. Ojukwu did not argue with the name. The name came from an Ijo man, which means that Ijo wants Biafra more than anybody else. But I'll tell you where the name comes from, and I'll give you 3 names. And I want you to bear one thing in mind. I'm from a place called Afara. Afara. If you put BI in front of it, which means come, it becomes Biafra. Afra means the land of the people who we are joined together. If you go through your history books, from the beginning. I restarted, I went back to the beginning. I don't start from the middle. We are called Biafra, denoting our map, and they shortened to Biafra. All the maps have all these names. And this Biafra used to be a kingdom under God Almighty in heaven, not by man, by God in heaven. And when I was preaching this afternoon, I said to you people, there are some things about Biafra that people don't know. The white man knows about you more than you know yourself. That is why the white man doesn't want Biafra to come. It means come and join. Biafra means come and join. That is our name, not given to us by the Portuguese. Because if you look at the history of Biafra, the first name was Biafra. Second name was Biafra. Some called it Biafra, yes. And then lastly, it was Biafra. Go and check it very well. And I will conclude by referring you to the scriptures, the Bible, where it was said that my daughters from across the rivers of Ethiopia will bring gifts to my temple. So says the Lord of hosts. And if you go...
You heard that, right? It was not given to you by Portuguese. It was not given to you by Portuguese. So do you see the way you heard it directly? Because I see you are still in the comment section writing, saying that Biafra is used to refer the present Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, part of Edo Delta State, the river state of Nigeria, and as God may have it, you have heard it from all these names that you have mentioned. You heard it from all these names that you have mentioned. I have seen that you are ignorant. There is no amount of, you are a fool and you're just here to, divert the attention of what we are doing, because I can see you are insubordination and you are uncivilized, life in that comment section. So I believe I have spoken to people who are actually objective, that is willing to know the truth. I have given them the truth. So the explanation, before explanation, I actually made my own research. So that is the reason why I had to give you the explanation. And for you not to know that there are many words that was borrowed from our language, because we are ancient people. When you talk about esoteric, it is all about our people. We are ancient people. So it is our language was one of the first language spoken spoken in the world. We were this group of people that was, first people. We were in Egypt, where the first civilization started. In Egypt. We are brainwashed that the first industrial revolution started with European. It is not true. If the first industrial revolution started with Europeans, how come there is Egyptian pyramid? Who built the Egyptian pyramid? My ancestors did. Under slave era. They tell you that first industrial revolution was only done by Europeans. No. That might even be the second or the third. The European came and they stole ours. They actually made sure they stole ours and stop it. And they went back and they now revolutionize it again. They call it is European first industrial revolution, not African first industrial revolution. It is just that they sabotage our industrial revolution and industrialization. So they borrowed a lot of things from us. They borrowed even some words from us. So when you say that Biafra, it is true that most of this region were called the Bight of Biafra. Bight of Biafra, according to the Portuguese. But Biafra is not a Portuguese language. It is not a Portuguese language. It is our language. It is words put together. Bia and Fra. And well analyzed by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, you will not believe, Felix John, you will never believe, because you are, one thing about you Nigerians, you will never ever, number one, you are not open to a good argument, a healthy argument. Number two, you people does not believe that anything good can come from Africa. You people will never believe that Africa owned the first civilization. You people does not believe in such things. Do you know why? Because you people does not believe in yourselves. Including Hausa people. Hausa people was the ancient Egyptians. Civilizations they know. It started in their land. First civilization in the land of Egypt. So when people are coming to tell you this and that, you should know that Africa was brainwashed. And we were brainwashed in a way that we will never believe on ourselves or believe in things that will come out of us. Let's prepare this.
Go to the map of, I think it was 1368. It is there. Biafra, the very first map, to recognize our sojourn through the Afar region of Ethiopia. And then the same God that we worship said, you will come from beyond. He did not say inside Ethiopia. They will come from beyond Ethiopia to come to worship God. And that is the land of Biafra. Geographically, politically, spiritually, we know what we're talking about. It's only those who are blind in the spirit who cannot see it. And I've led, no wonder Facebook shut down my old account. You could have go there. It was laid out in black and white so that you can see the journey is taken. Only Ijaw people were educated enough to know what our name was. Ijaw, the same place you come from. If your ancestors, your forefathers, they are telling you you're from Biafra, how are you to say you're from Niger Delta? What is your proof? And I've already proven to you that Niger Delta, my dear brother, has no name. Niger means nigger, black, awful, absurd, ridiculous. In French, it's called Niger. In Latin, it's called nigger. You're telling me you're from Niger Delta. That is very shameful indeed.
And the question I want to ask is that the Biafra, which is always sound Bia and Fra.
Okay, now there is a Bible quotation he wanted to talk about. There is a Bible quotation he said he will refer you to the Bible. Is in the book of Zephaniah. In the book of Zephaniah, that's where he says, from the beyond the river of Ethiopia, my suppliant, even the daughters of my departed shall bring my offering. Zephaniah 3 verse 10. Zephaniah 3 verse 10. That's where you will see where Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was talking about, where he took you to the Bible. So now let us go to the Asari Dokubo's ignorant. Because postponing the Asari Dokubo's ignorance, it's going to make me be in the studio here tomorrow again. So where is it? I want to play it from the phone so that I'll be able to hear. Just one moment, let me open it.
Hello, good afternoon. It's 12 minutes past 7. And good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. It's 12 minutes past 7 in Nigeria, yeah.
Listen.
On the issues about the beef between me and River State Governor, I did not start it. And I'm not going to comment about it. I've closed the page. So anybody who wants to ask questions should go to him and ask him questions. I'm not going to comment about it any longer. So if you want to ask questions, please go and ask the governor. So on that issue, I am not going to comment. The second issue the second question is, how do we see the impending invasion of Niger Republic after the 7 days ultimatum of ECOWAS. ECOWAS is an organization set up by all of West Africa. And the West African states set up ECOWAS. The West African countries set up ECOWAS, like the AU for Africa, like the EU for Europe, and it's guided by laws and protocols. And one of the protocols is that an ECOWAS member country can only remove government, replace its government by democratic means. Through the ballot box. So any country that goes outside the ballot box to change the realms of power, that country will become a pariah state within ECOWAS.
Mm-hmm.
ECOWAS for some time had not been able to discipline these countries. We have Mali.
What?
We
Discipline.
Have Guinea, we have Burkina Faso, etc.
Wow.
ECOWAS has not been able to rail them in. President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is chairman of ECOWAS.
Okay.
So it is his responsibility to enforce the rules of ECOWAS. Is his responsibility. Together with his brother presidents and head of states of the various countries of the Western Economic Community of West African States. And President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is capable of enforcing these laws and orders of ECOWAS. Is capable. And I don't think Niger Republic is any match to Nigeria. I don't think Niger Republic can stand Nigeria. The same people who were defending Nigerian military, a couple of months ago when I pointed out the activities of some rogue elements in the Nigerian military, are the same people now abusing the Nigerian military. How inconsistent.
Nobody is abusing Nigerian military, Asari Dokubo. That is number one thing that you should get in your mind. Nobody is abusing Nigerian military, and nobody is praising Nigerian military. And then for you to come and say Nigerian military that you know people were prison because you abuse them. The most important thing that Asari Dokubo need to understand, there is a lot of things he said there. That's why I'm allowing it to roll, because there is a place where he came into politics, the geopolitics. So, saying that people were abusing Nigerian military now, I think you are misunderstanding it, because people are saying that Nigerian military who could not fight Boko Haram. Boko Haram is ravaging the north. Just like last week in Niger State, or in Niger State, Boko Haram killed 20. How many? I think 21 or 26. Even shot down a helicopter, military helicopter. Is it not true? So, are people lying about it? They are not abusing Nigerian military. They are stating a fact with regards to Nigerian military that is about to go to war with the Niger Republic. So, you coming here to, we know that it is the backlash he is receiving from this Bola Tinubu saying that he does not want any ex-militant in the Asoville again. So we know exactly what's going on. And me and you and I knows that Nigerian military, we know, we never stand for somebody to come to Asorok, just like this guy did a few months ago, to say that they place allegation on them, and they did not respond, they did not say anything. It is not a character of Nigerian military. We all know that a lot of things is fishy. We all know that. But the most important thing that we are not going to, deliberate on that for now. We are not going to break it down, but we know. So all these things he is saying here, it is actually trying to cover up one or two things, but we know. But let us actually, I want to, follow it up and capitalize on the politics when he started talking about politics and degrading our fallen heroes of Africa. Those who were killed because they were opening the eyes of Africa. He said that they are failure. Listen.
Defending Nigerian military. A couple of months ago, when I pointed out the activities of some rogue elements in the Nigerian military, are the same people now abusing the Nigerian military. How inconsistent you people can be. You are the one. So what you are looking for is anything that will bring Nigeria down.
Did you create Nigeria?
That's why I said.
Did you create Nigeria? Has Nigeria been up ever in the life or in the history of this world? Has Nigeria ever been up, Asari Dokubo? For you to now charge on people that they are looking for anything that will bring her down. Has Nigeria ever been up for people to bring it down? And your father did not create Nigeria, Edi Abali. My father did not create Nigeria. Tinubu's father did not create Nigeria. Or none of these military fathers created Nigeria. Nigeria was created from a white man from Britain and his girlfriend, Flora Shaw. So how can you be saying that we are trying to, bring Nigeria down? Nigeria has never been up. It was created for profit, not for the sake of human being that dwells in it. So no one is trying to bring Nigeria down. Nigeria is already down. We are trying to escape from the downed Nigeria.
Nigeria down. And then that's why I said there is no need for us to allow Igbos to continue to be with us. We should allow them leave. They should go. So, for me, I do not believe in using the military option now. We should exhaust all democratic options, all diplomatic options.
Oh.
And if that fail,
now you the
there will be no alternative than to carry out a military action to make sure that these people who think they can use the gun bought for them by the taxpayers of Benin Republic to replace a democratically elected government would not benefit from such immoral rascality. They will not benefit from it. And if the government commissioned me and my people to go to Niger Republic, we'll go, we'll defeat them, and we'll come back victorious. It's not a post.
If government commission him with this big stomach, this big stomach, that he cannot even run, if government commission him, I hope you saw the stomach when he sit. Ediabal. If government commission this Ediabal, he will go and he will return victoriously. Please, government commission him. Let him lead the war, the front of the war. Commission your boy Tinubu, your son figure, because he say you are the father figure. Commission him, please. Let him go. So let's continue.
It's not a post. If the government commission us to go, if Benin Republic like, let them go and bring anybody. They are human beings, or wake men, or lotu. They are human beings like us. We will go there, we will defeat them, and we'll come back victorious, and we'll restore democratic order in Benin Republic.
We will restore democratic order. Okay.
I'm just a noisemaker. The same noisemaker is the one, Okoje, you are accused of killing your people. The same noisemaker is the one you are accused of being unknown gunmen. The same noisemaker is the one, you are so inconsistent. You are dying with bile and bitterness.
They are whining him.
You are dying with bile and bitterness.
Before we come back to this, let me see. There is a place I want to get out from. Let me get it from here. One moment. Let me get it from here. I want to get it from here. There is a particular place I want to actually focus on, where he talked about the politics. Before we come back to this one, so I have found where it is already cut out, so that we listen to it. I want you to listen to this. One moment. They stole ours and stopped it, and they went back.
There is news of war, there is panic. Would we change one neocolonial exploitation of Africa with another neocolonial exploitation of Africa?
Do you know the reason why he is talking about changing Russia or changing the neo-colonialist with Africa, or changing Russia, Europe for Russia? Do you know the reason why Asari Dokubo is talking about that? He is not talking about it because Asari Dokubo, is calling for change in Nigeria or in Africa, because he knows very well that his father figure, there is a lot of things that is actually a loopholes that if they do not support the neo-colonialists of this unipolar system, that the man he called his father figure, who is leading Nigeria today, that man is going to fail. So they must, or they have to, support the neo-colonialists for them to continue to be in the position of power. That is the reason why they are doing everything in order to make sure that they support the Western, neo-colonialism. That is the reason why Asari Dokubo and his, new president are trying to do the real bidding of this Western neo-colonialists, because they know very well that if they work against it, if they are not, doing the same thing that they were charged to do, that maybe Chicago result will be handed to Atiku Abubakar. Maybe the Chicago 1999 case might be reopened. So there are many leverage against them that is actually pushing all this narrative. That is the reason why you are hearing Asari Dokubo now coming to now water the ground to tell you the reason why they must support the neo-colonialism, because he believes he is in competition also with Wagner Group, because with his big stomach, he's comparing himself with Prigozhin of Russia. With his big stomach, he's comparing himself with Prigozhin of Russia. That's why he ran outside to tell you he is running a private machinery or private military. So that is exactly what is playing out here. Listen attentively so that you will understand what we are talking about.
No, man is in a state of great loss. By this time, you are talking of national issues, international issues, cross-border issues, regional issues. The war is in the air. Everybody is afraid. What of your personal life? You are in school, your grades are not high enough. All of you are students. Some of you are going for your postgraduate. Your grades are not high enough. Your parents are having one sickness or the other. They are having one sickness or the other.
So you know.
How am I going to address this issue? Is it my small allowance of 60,000?
He's exposing Nigeria.
You are in terrible confusion.
Oh, you haven't. Oh.
You are in terrible doubt how you are going to succeed. There are those of us who, because of the environmental conflict around us, like in this family, there is conflict, religious,
Nakwa ụmụ nwunye ya.
our senior uncle, Dynamite, who is with the camera, is not a Muslim. He's a Christian. That is how it is why young people. But our mother, Mama, she's not a Muslim. She's a Christian. So you go into this conflict, religion
this one is calling your attention, this one is calling us, is very simple. By this time, man is in a state of truth, except those who believe. These people, in this period of confusion, they call to worship. They call to worship.
Okay, I think I have gotten what I want from that piece. Trying to replace Europeans with Russia. Now let me go back to it so that we will actually understand it, so that I want to address that area. We go to that area. That is the area I want to address. Then before we go to the main video I am playing from the phone. Okay. Would we change France for Russia, for China? All right. We won't change France for Russia and for China. Now let me clear the doubt of some people who think alike, like Asari Dokubo. One thing we are looking at, it is not about replacing one neocolonialist to another with another. Replacing France with Russia. That is a new initiative in Africa. It is all about understanding the Western hegemony and understanding the approach of Russia and the approach of China. When you understand the approach of Russia and the approach of China and the Western hegemony, you will now come to realization which one is actually bearable, because we have seen the worst of them. Which one can we align with? Because if you look at it, Russia is fighting imperialism. China is fighting imperialism. Russia is fighting unipolar system. Russia is fighting unipolar system because they want multipolar system. Now, in this regard, that is the reason why they decided to form an initiative called BRICS, which any nation can equally join them and become a full member, not artificial member of it. And that is the reason why they want to form alliance with Africa, because they know that Africa is the ground that Europeans will always use to foster their unipolar system, to foster to actually promote their control and to make sure that they get the vote that they need. Because just like you see what happened in Russia, Ukraine, they want to push people to side who? Side this person, side that person. You must declare your stance. You must. It is not that you have to. You must declare your stand. Are you for Russia? Are you for Europeans? That is when they will know whether NATO will get involved. Once they buy the vote of Africa, once they don't buy it, they force the vote of Africa to be on their side. That is the reason why they are going to treat Africa to be like their slaves and their beggars. That is the reason why you have all these UNICEF, UNIFAM, and all these charity organizations that are donating money to Africa, funding your healthcare system, which is never ever standard. No matter how much they put into it, no matter how much they put into a particular organization in your country, it will never come out to be standard. Even though you see they will tell you they are funding it with $2 billion, they are funding it with $100 million, you will never see any improvement in those areas they tell you they are funding. Why? Because they know this is paying direct salary to the man they have placed in the position of power, so that this man will be doing their bidding while impoverishing the nation where he's supposed to be representing. Now they know Russia, China understood that if we will remove this Western nation or unipolar system nations from Africa, they will no longer have that power of imperialism. They will no longer have. That is the reason why when this BRICS summit that is going to Africa, that is going to take place in South Africa, they are going to be discussing about their new currency, BRICS currency, that is going to eventually dethrone dollars, which is going to give people more options in the world trade platforms. Because it is only mostly dollars that people trade with. And that is actually what builds inflation to various nations that you have. The inflation that drives inflation, what drives your currency losing value, it is because there is not much people looking for your currency. Everybody is looking for dollar. There is nobody looking to trade with your currency because your currency is not known. Plus your raw materials is exported and you export all the finished product, bringing inflation back home. So that is exactly what is, the unipolar system does. US dollar, when they do not like you, they place an embargo or with US dollar on you. Then you will not be able to trade with any other nation. So that is exactly China and Russia. They are fighting the same, enemy that Africa is supposed to be fighting. And the number one thing they need to understand that Africa is not anti-Western countries. We are not anti-Western countries. But we want an equal field and we want a level ground where everybody will come to the market and be represented like human beings. That is actually what Africa is asking for. Africa that I know, we are not fighting Western, countries. We are not anti-Western countries. But the Western countries are actually pushing it for everybody to be, against them. Because of their unipolar system. Because of their, the way they want everybody to be subdued. The way they will choose one person to control the whole nation through that one person. The way the France will now be making policies that will impoverish the whole nation. And they will be having their biggest reserve of the resources they do not have coming out of their ground naturally. So that is exactly one of the things. If you are fighting imperialism, imperialism is the reason why African countries are poor today. So any nation that is fighting imperialism, Africa is supposed to actually back up that nation. Because when you fight this Western imperialism, and we are in the 21st century, right? And anybody that is coming to form an alliance with us, you are going to activate foreign policy. Anything that you are going to do with that person, you put your own country first. The policy or the benefit of your own country first. Russia will come, they have their own foreign policy, they have their own benefit, coming to join force with Africa or coming to help Africa to fight imperialism. or neocolonialism. They are coming with their own intention, while you that is actually going to need some things that they have that you do not have. We bring your own intention and make alignment and make agreement that will be in favor of your nation. That is the reason why we do not want stooges being in the position of negotiation. We want people who are actually going to understand the problem of Africa and negotiate a new beginning with Africa, for Africa. Whether they are aligning with China or with Russia, we negotiate, we have a level field where everybody will come and play equally. That is the type of negotiation that is ongoing in Africa. So having you talking about Russia and China, if not Russia and China, believe you me, you see this coup that took place in Niger Republic, they must have sent military to go and ransack that place. Just like they did in Iraq. Just like they did in Libya. They would have sent military into Niger now. But they know that how they condemn Ukraine invasion of Russia. So if they do such thing, it will now give leverage to Russia and China to criticize them and to fight a proxy war against them. So they know these things. That is the reason why they have not engaged. Because if it is not Russia and China involved, believe you me, Niger Republic you will not be talking about Niger Republic now. I am telling you the honest truth after the coup. So there are some Western power we need that does not believe in unipolar system. There are some Western nations like Russia, Eastern Europe, who does not believe in imperialism, who is fighting imperialism. It is up to the people who are now going to align with him to bring their own agenda in front of them, and they negotiate this agenda. Because when the colonialist was going, what they did is that you sign, we have agreed with this, sign here. We have agreed with this, sign here. We have agreed with this, sign here. You just signing. One-sided negotiation. And one-sided agreement. So, these people are now opening the door for a new alignment, for a new friendship, which you are going to make use of your foreign policy. Your interest, not the interest of the president, the interest of the country comes first. So what Asari Dokubo is talking, these are the people who position themselves next to politicians without knowing politics, without understanding the world politics, without understanding how to navigate existential problem and threat that is already upon us. You must have an alignment. That alignment is actually, it depends on the way you negotiate it. Do you think the way the West want Bazoum to come back to power, do you think people in the likes of Bazoum will come and negotiate any alignment with anybody? Because they know this is their stooge. They know that is their stooge. So how will they now bring such person? Like, you cannot bring Tinubu to go and negotiate the fair or the independence of Africa with the West, knowing that Tinubu came through the back door. You cannot bring such people to go and negotiate. You only bring this new generation who understood what the foreign policy mean, who understood that negotiation is not about one person, it is about the nation, the interest of the people. That is foreign policy, where you put the interest of the people first before any other thing. Not people who will go and get carried away. Hey, he's a Russian president. I am sitting next to Russian president. Hey, he's a Russian president. No. You go there, you see him as a Russian president, a human being. And Russia, what is fair about Russia? Russia, they have natural gas. They have oil. Russia, they have uranium. They have uranium. They have these resources that these people does not have. The reason why these people are actually coming in brutally is because they do not have what you have. They need what you have. And in order for them to get it in quantum, they need to actually intimidate you. They need to actually bring a policy that, they use military power to intimidate you. They use every avenue to intimidate you through even they need to manipulate you by giving you funding, paying you peanuts in advance because you are chasing after dollars. Once they tell you they will give you $100 million, as a greedy president, you will agree. Once you agree, your own is finished. Everything they will be paying you in advance. They will not miss the payment because they know that that payment is actually 0.001% of the interest they are making from what they are taking from your country. So they know how to negotiate business. They know how to, introduce it in advance. They know how to put their foreign policy first. But Africa, they know how to receive cash. They know how to receive, it is all about this, give us those $. We need that $. Bring it. And it is the demise of Africa. That is the reason why you go to Cameroon. Paul de Biya has been there for 40 years. No one is challenging him because French place him there. No one has ever woken up to challenge him. He's even staying in a foreign country and being president, the old man, because he's a stooge for French country. No one is doing this type of people. You say they are elders. They are going to negotiate for us. They will never negotiate for you. They will only secure the bag for the family. That's the only thing this type of people does. Because upon that, the West already have something against them, something on them. Anytime you decide to go contrary to what we have agreed with, we will now expose you with this. So these things they are doing will never enable you to have a good negotiation with them or to challenge their imperialistic power. That is the reason why you have to. Now, when you are negotiating with Russia and China, you remember what happened to the previous things. There was no negotiation. It is all about sign here, sign here. We are giving you this independence, but we are going to supply you this, take this from you, this and that. Sign here, sign here. Everybody was signing. So this time around, it is all about coming to the table in order to determine, in order to decide what is next thing to do. That's it. So Russia and China coming to Africa, they are not coming as a unipolar. They are coming as people who believe in multipolar system. They are coming as people who are fighting imperialism. They are coming as people who are fighting neocolonialism, because Africa is always what a weapon that is being used against them. So they have to bring a better deal for Africa to do away with these people, with this unipolar system, with these people who are very brutal on everybody. So that's why, as much as Africa need China, China need Africa. As much as Russia need Africa need Russia, Russia need Africa, because Africa is the number. Russia have mineral resources. They have mineral resources. They are not infertile. Their land is not barren like some of the places in the West. Their land is not barren. So when you see this type of people coming, they have something. It is not like they don't have anything. They are just coming to steal it from you. But they are coming to plunge what is making their enemy powerful. And upon that coming to plunge that what is making their enemy powerful, they will bring a better deal. Because if they bring a deal that is not African friendly, you turn it down. They will not plunge what is making their enemy powerful. So have you now seen that they have leverage on you, you have on them? China, they want raw material in order to continue to push themselves to compete with the big world. So you have that raw material. So they need to align better with you in business and in everything, so that they will compete with the unipolar system. They will work against unipolar system and bring about multipolar system. Have you now seen the trajectories? These people, they want multipolar system where power is not centralized, where power is disseminated. Dissemination of power. Have you now seen that their own approach is quite different from European approach? That is the reason why when I tell you, it's true that I tell you that Chinese, they like to buy stolen goods. But it is because you like to sell stolen goods. That's why they want to buy it. It is true because they want to do illegal mining. It is because you don't have security, you allow them to come in and do that. But when we start understanding all these things, we will make a good alignment, and we will put a good initiative that we will use. Anybody that is coming to align with Africa, we know that we have what they need. We are not beggars with them. Rather, we have a common enemy, which is unipolar system, imperialism. That is the common enemy we have. And doing that, we are not going in there because we are anti-Europeans. Because if Europeans decide to change their policy today, if they decide to change their policy and their approach, we are still in to do business with them. We are still in. But if they are not willing to change their approach, slowly but surely, we will do away with them. And now we are going to now make sure we protect our sovereignty. What you are playing now is a game of mind. The strongest mind is the one who wins in this type of game that is being played. That is the reason why we want Biafra, so that we will implement this type of alignment and policies that will enable us to thrive. The reason why we are discussing this, it is because it is actually what we have been fighting for over the years. That's why we know these things. It is exactly what we are fighting for. Because we know that if we do away with this type of approach and policies that the Europeans are coming with, we are going to grow as a nation. But these few individual minorities who call themselves your leaders will never allow that to happen. They don't want to allow that to happen because it is making them secure the bag for them and their family, not for the nation which they represent, which is a very, very dangerous thing for the nation which they represent. And that is the reason why everybody needs to stand up and condemn all these activities of these people that are the stooge of the Europeans, which they use to do economic exploitation and sabotage through terrorism, among others. Have you seen how long we have been shouting that Nigeria government were breeding terrorism, but nobody paid attention to it because they know that they are aware. It is part of the things that enable them to come in. This terrorism. They are aware. And some people in Nigeria, because of their, ignorant, they will never pay attention. They will say, no, it is an Igbo man talking this. He's a Biafran. Therefore, we can't listen to this guy. This guy is just saying this because of his interest to have Biafra. But we are now on a neutral ground. Because when we are talking about this, it is about the love of Africa. The love we have for Africa. That is the reason why we are talking about this. It is not only for love for Biafra. We love Africa. But we want to have our independent nation. So that in case if you don't want to move forward, you move aside so that we will move forward. We don't want you to use your own evil shadow to block my own success. That is what we are fighting for. Because we know the game. We know the game that is being played, and we cannot allow ourselves to be the last when others are chasing after being first. We don't carry last. We don't want to be the last. That is the reason why we must restore Biafra, and we must have our own territorial integrity. Any negotiation that will come, we know that we are actually negotiating for ourselves, not somebody that is a stooge. If anybody is a stooge around us, we will deal with that person. Even if he warrant that many will die, for us to deal with that stooge, we will deal with that person. It doesn't matter how many will die, for us to deal with a stooge of any neocolonialist. No, we will deal with you. It is us that place you there. It is us that will remove you. That is what we are looking for. And that is why we want Biafra. And that is the reason why we will get Biafra. We are not going into alliances like fools. Rather, we are going into alliances like equipped, educated, intellectual, and above all, exposed people and experienced people. We have seen our boogeyman. We have seen our suffering. We have seen our challenges. We have seen how we are going to solve these challenges. It is only one way. Us taking our future and deciding it ourselves. Because the old people, they are still thinking, those old people are the reason why some people in Africa are thinking that the first industrial revolution started with Europeans. Now, when we talk about things we used to do in Africa, they tell you that you are setting them back. Very soon you will still see locomotive. I saw a video where somebody is riding something like a bicycle. It was generating electricity. Somebody came in the comment section and said that this is setting Africa back, or this is setting us back. Very soon, the way the world is going to get sick, the climate is going to get sick, that there will be zero tolerance to carbon emission stuff, that you will still go back to the old ways. You will go back to the old ways. That is the reason why I tell you that all these things, even horse riding, even all these things you talk about in the past, they will become assets. Because the world is going to reset, going back to its original form. And that is when you will know that God is doing away with the world of the wicked. He is actually doing away with the world of the wicked. And we are going to go back to locomotives, manual labors. We are going back to it. Forget all these things that you see. New technologies, this and that. The effect of it is coming. The climate is getting sick, right? Oil price is going to go down. 2030, Europeans are going to do away with the carbon emission vehicles. right? They're going to stop manufacturing it. So where are you going to get most of your parts from? Because they are driving the market. They are the heartbeat of this, market, automobile. So in this regard, it is time for us to start thinking of change, so that change will not take us by surprise. We still have a lot to talk on Asari Dokubo, but I don't have much time. I have to call it a day here. Tomorrow we are going to, I'm not coming into this studio tomorrow. I am going to have we are going to have a short session, but not in the studio. But most important thing is that we need to understand that the world is changing. That is the reason why the Bible will tell you the first shall be the last, while the last shall be the first. It is coming to that time now. So where do you want to find yourself? On the last or on the towards the last or towards the first? Is it where you want to find yourself? Because however way it is, you must make sure you actually find yourself to be in front. And that's why we need Biafra. And we have given you every reason beyond any doubt that we are going to do well as a nation when we restore Biafra. And we are going to actually buy into the initiative of unity of Africa. Pan-Africanism. Because we are Pan-African. We are Pan-African. We are not anti-Pan-Africa. The fact that we are trying to secede from Nigeria, it is because Nigeria is created for profit of Europeans, not profit for people who are dwelling in it. Nigeria was not created by African. Nigeria is anti-African. But the people that is dwelling in Nigeria, in their individual nation, they are good and wonderful people. In their individual nations, they are good and wonderful people. But in the collective nation called Nigeria, when they put them together as a nation called Nigeria, it is disastrous. Because, they engage in this thing called, how do I put it? It is like a competition. In a very, very negative way. Everybody wants to take the lead, but no one wants to actually, do the leading. Everyone wants to take the lead. No one wants to do the leading because they don't want to lead another to success. That is the reason why you will never produce a good leader. It is all about somebody who wants to secure the bag for their family member. That's all. So that is the reason why the disintegration of Nigeria is a tax that must be done. We know that such leaders that are planning to go to war in Niger Republic, in ECOWAS blocks, they are not going to bring this integration. They are not going to bring in this new development. But we will find a way to navigate and get our freedom, even though they will want to, bring their backlash. But they will be given a backseat. That's something we know. We know it is not that easy. And that is the reason why we are telling our people that those people who will tell you they are giving you Biafra tomorrow, today, to yesterday, self-referendum, they are all fraud. Because they don't know they don't understand the powers that is there that we need to deal with. They don't understand. It's only when you understand the world politics that you will understand what is standing in front of us, the mountains that we need to break down. And eventually we are going to break it down. And that is it. We are not in a hurry, but we cannot delay. We are not in a hurry. Because if you start giving people the time, the time frame where you are going to give them Biafra, people will now become, they will grow fatigue.
That is the reason why you must tell them how difficult it is. You be honest with them. You are not looking forward to, exploit them. Be honest with them. It is only people who are uninformed, who does not understand the world politics, that will come out today and tell you, no, we are getting you Biafra tomorrow. We are going to have a convention, and we are going to have a $250 per person convention and conduct a self-referendum. You ask yourself, what is self-referendum? It doesn't exist. It is a grammar that somebody just put together, formulated, to use it to exploit people. A referendum is only one. A referendum that will be organized and oversight by an entity like United Nations. There is nothing like self-referendum. There is nothing like when you sit at home, it is a self-referendum. We have, if there is a self-referendum, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu had already shown it to the world. Because when we sit at home, when any leader that is coming from Nigeria coming to our land, that sit at home, it is already a referendum. There is nothing like self-referendum. It is a sign that our nation have agreed that we are going home. So there is nothing else that somebody needs to show us to tell us that, to deceive you that it is a self-referendum. It is criminality. The 30th of May, sit at home. It is a sign that our people are actually in support of everything we are doing. Then somebody now come to tell you, if you come to convention, it becomes a self-referendum. If you sit at home every Monday, it becomes a self-referendum. Or if you do this, it becomes a self-referendum. That is a lie. Because number one thing you need to understand is that, okay, so they will also tell you that when you sit at home, it is crippling Nigeria economy. Nigeria does not have monetary system. Nigeria does not have monetary system. So there is nothing you will do in the southeast that will cripple their economy. They don't care. The only people that will be crying are business people who are there. And the people who depend on the menial job to survive, which is the ordinary people. The only place you touch that will pay Nigeria is their oil block and their oil wells and their oil pipeline. That is the only thing that pays them. As long as it is not Lagos, you are not touching Nigeria, you are touching only your people. Nigeria does not have monetary system. Or will I say, yeah, they don't have. I don't know if I am actually using the right terminology. Nigeria does not depend on tax to run the nation. Nigeria depends on who is securing the bag, because the money is shared among them, amongst the cabals. It is not circulated or allocated to do infrastructural development or anything. So that's why when you sit at home for 1 year, they don't care. It doesn't move them. It only moves the business people. And business people that are in that area that is getting hurt. Because you cannot tell me you are sitting at home to hurt Nigeria government when Nigeria government is selling the oil while you are sitting at home. Oil coming from your land, they are selling it, making money. They are pumping it every day on a daily basis, making money. But you say you are sitting at home, it is hurting them. When they realize money from this oil, they share it among themselves, among their cabals. And somebody who you assume to be very wise is telling you it is true, sit at home. They will release Nnamdi Kanu. But without you knowing that is that thing they are doing. They are using it to cripple the people, to make sure that people denounce your activities. That's why they will continue to keep your leader there. And the person is deliberate about it, doing it because he knows it prolonged the stay of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because that is what they ever wanted. For our land to be a bloodbath, How many people they have killed in enforcing sit at home? They want our land to be a bloodbath. They want our people to die of hunger and starvation. What they did in 1967, somebody is giving it to them free of charge now. And you think it will pain them. They are the reason why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been in the solitary confinement, because they promote it. They know as long as you are here, people are suffering. People will begin to denounce the activities of Biafra. So you need to be here so that we will actually get to our target. That is politics. People don't know. But some people who are uninformed, because somebody is shouting, I will destroy Nigeria. But you are destroying your people in Biafra land. But you are calling it Nigeria you will destroy. Since when has Biafra land become Nigeria? When Ojukwu declared Biafra, did he call it Nigeria land? He called it Biafra. There is difference between these two. So the earlier you understand the type of, war we have embarked upon, you should understand that it is not a war of emotion. It is a war of diplomacy. It is a war of diplomacy. It is a war that is coming from principalities and power. So you need to implement a better principle that will counter their principle. And that is what we are doing. That is, we are trying to provoke the world to understand what we can offer. And that is the best we can do for now. For now. Until if need be. And that is something so many of us does not understand, because they are blind, they are inexperienced, they are unexposed, they don't know anything about how the world is run. So you don't blame them. I don't blame them myself. But in a situation whereby they are not open for a constructive argument, that's what pissed me off. Especially all these Autopilot members who are one Nigerianists hiding in the guise of Autopilot to fight what we are doing. But bear in mind, we are going to emerge victoriously. We are calling on Appeal Court of Nigeria to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu because he has committed no crime, and the same Appeal Court has discharged and acquitted him from every crime, and they said that there is no court that has jurisdiction to try him. Court is not an author of confusion. So if court decide to continuously go against their verdict, the same courtroom, go against their verdict, it simply means that they are promoting the activities of banditry in Biafra land. That is what the court is doing. And we will, make the world know that, because that is exactly what they are doing. If they cannot release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu right now, in the next upcoming court, in the 24th of September, in September, we will know and confirm that the court is actually part and parcel of the insecurity in our land. And we will know that the court is no longer representing people. The court is representing the interest of the judges and the interest of evil people called politicians in Nigeria. So now no one is going to be, seen to be safe in Nigeria again. Same court, same judgment, same stay of execution, same court gives judgment, same court checking their judgment, same court delaying the justice. Justice delayed, justice denied. And Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is free. And he just need to open the shackle that they place on him so that he will let him go until we meet again. Stay safe. Stay informed. Bye for now.